Hello all. Today we will look at creation of EBS volumes and attaching them to the EC2 instance that we have. So as we know that when we create a EC2 instance, we'll create new one. So when we create a new EC2 instance, only one default volume, the root volume, is created, this one, right? But like I mentioned, if we have to install any software or any other databases and all, so we will not create it in a root volume, or sometimes we'll have multiple volumes for our data static creation, right? That's how our production and development of systems are designed. So how do we create a new volume? We'll look at the process in this tutorial. So I will create a new instance name web srv3. Okay, and I will do this quickly, right? I will choose a message on Linux. This method is pretty much same what we have used. Okay, the instance is 2D micro, that is the free tier eligible one. We'll use the key pair, my key pair, and we'll use the existing security group. Like I mentioned, I'm using the default one right now only for the demo purpose. And then I have one GP2 volume, the root volume, let it be the same. I won't change anything there. Then all the settings are pretty much same. Then I will just click on launch instance. Now this was fairly quick. If I go here, I will see my instance getting provisioned. So you can see here that the instance is getting, ignore this one, this is something that I have launched some time back. Okay, I have to go back again here. See, the instance is up and running. The status checks and all takes a little while to start, as we have already seen it during our last videos. When we launched our instances, we said that this takes a little bit of time, right? So that's okay. Meanwhile, we will connect to the instance. I will use the SSH command to connect to my instance. Now I'm here. Now I logged into the EC2 instance. So alright, I am now in the EC2 instance that is up and running, and I can see right now there is only one 8 GB volume, and 1.6 is used and 6.5 GB is available for me. Now I want to attach another volume to my existing instance. Okay, so this instance is ending with B4E2 and it's in US East 1B. So it's important for us to know which availability zone our instance is launched, because we need to create the EBS volume in the same availability zone. Okay, so meanwhile, while the status checks complete, I will create the volumes. So to create the volume, I will go on the volumes here on the left side, and then I will click on create volume. Okay, now as you can see, I don't have any of the new volumes here, so I'll just click on create volume, and the next step is what kind of volume you are looking at. Okay, so this is like GP2 volume, and the size is, so I will just create a small volume of 8 GB. Then next is what is the availability zone. So like I mentioned, we need to first know where the instance is provisioned. My instance is provisioned in US East 1B. Okay, so now I will go to the volumes, and the volume that I will create So I will create a new volume of 8 GB and I will put it in US East 1B. Yeah. Next is, if I want to encrypt my volume, mostly when we have production systems, like I mentioned, we will encrypt them, but I will not encrypt them for now. For the demo purposes, I will just leave it like that. Okay, now we'll give a tag. I will say like server dev. Okay, so I have given a tag. So it's really important for me to tag a volume, because if I won't tag it, then I will not know which volume, what is the purpose of the volume, why I have created it. So I've just given it a tag for server is equal to dev. Now I created the volume. You can see there are two volumes. One is the default volume that was created when my instance was created, the root one, and the next one is the new one that I'm creating it. And the volume state is creating. So you can see that the volume is in creating state, and now the volume is available. Now available means I can attach it. In use means it's already attached to an instance. Okay, so right now if I go back again to my instance, I will see that I only have one volume. I don't have the other volume. So I will now attach this volume, the newly available volume. I will attach it to the, I will say action and attach volume. Now this is the instance. Okay, so I will click here. Now we know my new instance was 4B4E2. Okay, let's check it again once. We'll go to the instances and we can see that the instance is 4B4E2. Now again we will go to the volumes and click here. This is the new volume that was created. It's available. I will go and attach it to attach volume. Instance type will be 4B2 and then I will click on attach volume. Now if you look at it, my status will change to in use. So my status was available. Now when I attached it to the instance, the status has changed to in use, and I'm also getting the instance ID where my instance where my volume was attached, and it has got attached to 4B4E2 my server. Okay, so now if I go to my server here, but I don't see the volume, right? Yeah, because the volume needs to be mounted. Okay, so for that I can look at the EC2 documentation. Okay, so I will go to the EBS volumes and I will say attach a volume to an instance. Like I mentioned, EC2 AWS documentation is really good. Okay, so I often refer it when I started working on AWS. Then also I referred it, I learned, and now also I read it. So we have already attached a volume. Now we'll make a volume available for use. So they have mentioned that when you to attach the volume, you need to log into the server and follow the steps as I mentioned. So we need to format and mount the volume, because the volume is raw. We need to format it, so we have to be careful that we don't go and format the wrong volume, right? So we'll use the SLLSBLK command here. So alright, we can see that XVDA volume is already there. That already has one partition, XVDA1, right? That is the root partition. And we have another volume, XVDF, that is 8 GB and that is available. Yeah. So the next step is, now they are mentioning that is the T2 instance, the root device is XVDA, which has one partition name XVDA1. So we can see here the root partition is XVDA and it has volume as XVDA1. Okay, so the next is, we will see whether whether there is a file system on the volume. So the new volumes are raw devices and we need to create a file system on it. So we'll just go and check. So I'm checking if there is a file system on it. Now if I get this output as data, Okay, so if you look at it, if the output shows data in the following output, there is no file system on the device, so it means there is no file system on the device. Yeah, but if I look at XVDA1, the XVDA1 is my main root volume. I can go and check here, so it has a file system, right? Now what I will do, I will format the volume. Now you have to be careful, guys. We only use the file system, the new one that we are creating, that is raw, that does not have data, because if we format the existing one, all your data will be gone, right? So here I am so I'm not just copy pasting the command, I am also validating the command carefully. So here I have xvdf, right? So I'm creating a file system on this with this commands. Okay, so now you can see my file system has got formatted, and next is I will create a folder with the name data. So do I have a folder with the name data? I can check it here. No, I don't have a folder with the name data here. So I will go and create the file system. So I will clear the screen again. /data. Okay, so now I have the data folder. Now I'm going to mount the data volume to the folder. Okay, now let's check if we have the volume. Yes, so we can see the volume is mounted now, and we have 8 GB of available space. Total size is 8 GB, and the available volume size is also 8 GB. Now I can go to the data and create a file. So yep, my file is available for use. Yeah, so in this way we have seen how to create a volume. Now this volume will unmount once I reboot. So how do we make it persistent? You have to go to the etcfs step file and follow the steps. Okay, so they have given that we can execute this command plkid. Okay, so now we have this new volume as xvdf, and we have this uuid, right? And it shows the type file system is xfs, right? So what we have to do is we go to fs tab and give this entry here. So we will go to fs tab, so these are my already existing entries in the fs tab file. So I will add one more entry. Okay, but this is not right because I need to copy the uuid from here. So I will again do a sudo this, and I will change the uuid of the file system. So with this, what will happen is next time when my server is rebooted, the volume will already be mounted. So we can do this sudo mount /data, because I'm in the directory. I will say mount a. So now my directory should be mounted. As we can see, the directory has mounted and we have the data available with us. So this is how we create a volume, the EBS one. Okay, and if we'll go back to the EC2 console, we can see here the volume is available. Yeah, and in use, and the volume state is okay, it's not encrypted. So if I want, I can also take a snapshot of the volume. If I can just click on it, and I will say snapshot 1. Okay, and I will create a snapshot of the volume. So the snapshot that we take here is not it takes a yeah, see, so this is the snapshot that is there, and so if your volume is big, the snapshot takes a lot of time. It takes say like it can take 2 hours or 3 hours as well. It depends on how big your volume is. If it's small, it should be fairly quick, but yeah, it does takes time if you are if you have a big volume. Yes guys, so this was it. This is how you create a volume, and this is how you can take snapshots as well of the volume. Yeah, similarly you have AMIs as well, you have volumes, snapshots. Then you can also use lifecycle manager to create a snapshot policy for your volumes. Yeah, this is you can tag your volumes, like this is my volume, right? And I have provided it with some tags. So I can so these tags are really important. Like I mentioned, I will know that okay, this volume is for this dev server, or this volume is attached to the database server. That's why these tags are important. And when we create a lifecycle policy, we have to use the value of the tags. So any of the volumes that are attached to the any of the volumes that are matching the tag will get backed up. All right, so yeah, this is about the snapshot.